Hi there, YouTube. This little conversation all started with a little bit of something that I've been hearing around lately about the differences in the world of social media, how big names and pseudo celebrities get their start, and how it affects their lives, how these personalities end up interacting with people, and how good and the bad, all sorts of different kinds of people show up on the internet. Kind of makes me think about a lot of different things, and as noted by a lot of people, when you get a large group of people, it starts to get shitty really, really fast. And that's quite normal. When you have a group of people, it's quite difficult to keep them in line without becoming uh, basically a gigantic mess. But then again, that really is what the internet is when you think about it. Just a couple of random people, all who just want to interact, sometimes not in the proper way, sometimes in quite offensive ways. But the reason it's interests me is because of a recent discussion by Force SC2 Gaming. And he mentioned that Twitch chat was pretty bad. It was being to the point of racist and well, not really homophobic, but I might as well just put them all together. All of these different things make it quite interesting, because then you come up with groups of people who say we should police this thing. And of course, Twitch and many others, they go to the extent of moderating their fields. You have different ideas of how to go about this, stopping swear words, uh, closing off the groups, making it so that only paid people do it. Talk, obviously, but there's many different ideas, and probably what really strikes me is just the thoughts that I've been having about the system ever since it's come into fruition. Remember that the internet is an anonymous place. For the most part, you have no idea if anybody is who they really say they are. It's not uncommon to see somebody who says their female is male or male is female. It's quite up to the user to define who they are, and that is essentially what makes it so anonymous. You have the freedom to choose, and there's a lot of defenses, lots of barriers you can put around yourself and control that kind of information. On the other hand, this has the double-edged sword, obviously, that you can say right about anything you like. You can do right about anything you like. And that's exactly the reason that people have been abusing that fact. The mere fact that nobody can chase you down just because you say somebody is crazy, somebody is a complete bastard. That's up to you, really. It's not under their control. But what really gets me, what really hits me in some strange place that really, really bugs me, is the fact that it's a really fine line. It's one of those things that I myself have been thinking about over the entire internet as a whole, as a system, as a place where people have to hang out or will hang out. We're getting to that point where you just have to, really. And it came to my attention because of Facebook. In many ways, Facebook is a system where they actually disregard some of those rules in favor of some sort of balance, some sort of order within the chaos. And they do so with the intent of using that information. Don't get me wrong, Facebook is a very simple system, it's a very good system, but they are telling you to fill out all of your relevant information truthfully and completely onto a page on the internet. And some people don't seem to understand the gravity of that kind of statement. You're telling me that just because I know your picture, I can work my way backwards to who you are, where you live, what school you went to, what country you're from, what your phone number is, what your date of birth is, your email, and all of this information just because of a single fact, and you're openly putting it into one place. Of course, they say they've got all these defenses, privacy, but the mere fact that it's there means that if anything goes wrong, it's your fault. It has nothing to do with Facebook. And why do you have to do this? Well, it's Facebook's policy. The entire reason they have to do this is because the strength of their brand comes from the information being accurate. The fact that people have to use fake information, use falsified data, it ruins their image and ruins the value of that data. That's understandable. That's something I can get behind. I'm just not entirely sure how much I would be willing to put up there. That's why I've only recently ended up back on Facebook. It just screams like a very dangerous place to me. Just the danger is so real. That's not my only complaint, of course. Really, when you get right down to it, Facebook is a walled garden. That was noted to me by some other people that I like on YouTube. Really, it's a walled garden. You can like things, but you cannot dislike them. You can hate things, but you cannot openly say it without having to put it down into words in the comments. And that to me is a very polarizing thing. They want to they want positivity. They want discourse to be all about, hey, that's great, that's amazing, hey, you want to do business. They only want the good part, they don't want the bad part. And to some extent, I can understand the reason why you would want to do that. It has some purpose. It's quite an interesting way of doing things. But to me, it's not genuine. It's not real. You aren't getting the full picture. Places like Twitter, places like Friendster from way back in the day, MySpace and whatnot, we've all been going through these iterations of the system, and Facebook so far has been the one that people go to. But I dare to disagree with this system. And it's something that really I would love a little bit more anonymity. It's what makes the internet the internet. The fact that you just connect to this gigantic web and then suddenly, bam, you're nobody, and you're gonna have to work your way up to be somebody. And there is some merit to that. There is some fun. There is some interesting interactions that can happen. Nobody knows who you are, and you're gonna have to earn that respect. Second, is it just me, or it's not really a positive place unless there's the chance for failure? The mere fact that I cannot say no to something, but rather can only ignore it, isn't that strange? If I can like something, shouldn't I have the ability to dislike something? To say that it's trash? I'm not here to abuse that power, but I think that the right to hold that power is quite important. Because having that power means that you can voice a constructive opinion. Of course, the fact that you put that system in place can be abused. It is precisely the reason why the comment system is so debated. A lot of my favorite YouTubers already close off their comments because it just becomes a toxic place, lots of crappy people. But the fact that you can say nice things and you can say bad things, and the fact that none of it is stopped, is the same thing as saying up and down votes, like, dislike. They're sides of the same coin. You can't get a full picture of the idea unless you have both sides. Just because you have 100 likes, it means nothing unless you know how many people didn't like it. Then you can say, okay, well, I can say that X% of the population didn't like the way that I did things. That's good. It's information that's helpful, because just one side of the coin is like having half the equation open to you. Maybe it's just me, but I think that when the chance of failure is very real, when you have the complete picture, That's the only time that you can really, really, truly be true to the facts that come forward. I'm not exactly sure what I'm saying anymore, but what I would like to point out is Facebook does not, it doesn't do enough for me. To me, maybe places like Twitter might even be better, but even that I feel underwhelmed. Reddit is all words. Great. You've got ups and downs. Sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's not. But it's still not there. But what I do know is Facebook is not the end all be all, no matter how much people think it is. Anyway, these are my thoughts. Give it some thought yourself, because I'm torn on the issue, but I'm forced to use it because all of you guys are. Peace.